Oh, I'm scared to do this one. Oh man, I am scared to do this one. I may lose my black card off this one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just wasn't it for me. Man, this is gonna. Oh man, this is gonna be a good one. All right, look, The Color Purple review. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for The Color Purple, starring Fantasia, Taraji P. Henson, Danielle Brooks, Coleman Domingo, and was directed by Blitz Bazawule. Blitz Bazawule. And our story follows two sisters who are separated at very tragic points in their lives. The sister that is left, I don't necessarily want to say she's left behind because the other one kind of got thrown out, but the sister that, is left with the very tragic abusive relationship that she's left with, she is basically growing up in this terrible household and at some point meets this group of women who begin to shift her mindset on what it means to not only be a woman of your own, but how to love and respect yourself in ways that you just won't let people just walk all over you and, treat you any old kind of way. That's the basis of how I'm gonna describe that plot, because there's a much deeper message in this film because it's just a very, very disturbing. It's I'll say it's depressing. It's a very depressing and not disappointing, a very depressing and just very deep story. I'll say depressed because look, my my history with black movies is just very tormenting. Like, I've never seen the original Color Purple, to a lot of people's surprise. Like, everybody would be so shocked when I say that. But, my reasoning for never doing that is because black films, and when I say black movies, I mean, like, Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, Baby Boy, Set It Off, Jason's Lyric, movies like that. When it comes to movies like that, man, just black cinema in general back then, they were so depressing. And on top of that, there's just moments in each of those movies that, as a young child, scarred me for life. For one example is Set It Off. I don't know if anybody's ever seen. I know if you've seen Set It Off, you probably know what I'm referring to. But the ending to Set It Off, which I will not get into various detail if you've never seen it, the ending of Set It Off is one of the saddest endings I've ever seen in my life. As a child, I don't think I didn't need to see that, but it was on me. I loved movies. I snuck away and just watched movies that everybody was talking about. I saw that movie, man. The ending of that movie stayed with me for weeks, and I didn't even want to watch anything remotely close to those type of stories for at least weeks because of that ending to that movie. Jason's Lyric, I won't even get into that movie. That movie is just, it's a very deep story, just told in a very dark and depressing way, and that's just like my gripe with black films, that they just got to be so sad. Like Dead Presidents, Chris Tucker to me was Rush Hour. And I'm sorry I'm going on this little rant, but it's just, before I get into my feelings on this movie here, I just have to give my history of my, tormenting of black cinema. Although it's very good, there are many classics in there, and at least I've seen them. Right? I haven't seen all of them. I haven't seen like The Color Purple. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen majority. And just the shit that happens, man, it can scar you as a child. But like I said, Chris Tucker, that man was a Detective Carter to me for a very long time. And then I saw Dead Presidents, see my boy strung out on a couch, dead as a crackhead. Just for me as a kid, I don't need to see my guy Detective Carter just playing such a dark and depressing role, which he did a pretty good job with. But it's just as for me, that affected me, man. I'm not really a fan of black films. I'm sorry, but I've seen them. Like Best Man, I'll stand by every day. That entire saga at this point, because there's a TV show involved. But it's just, I've seen black movies, y'all, but it's just, it made me so sad as a kid, and I just I've been scarred from a lot. So you can check those movies out if you want and know what I'm talking about yourself. But anyway, on to The Color Purple. So look, what I liked, basically based off of my history with these films, I went into this movie very open-minded, and I wanted to love this movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted there to be a newer version of The Color Purple that I could basically love and tell my kids about. Because same gripe I had with Willy Wonka movies. I did not like any of them until the current one we got this year, because Johnny Depp and the other actor's name, who I can't think of right now, they creeped me out. But for some reason, Timothy Chalamet stole my heart, and I love Wonka now, and I wanted to feel the exact same with Color Purple. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a good movie, because it is, but, okay, so I'm basically going crazy now. What I liked about the film was I liked very few actors in the film. I'll say this, the best one to me was the shittiest character in the film, and what I mean by shittiest was he had the shittiest, personality. Coleman Domingo is Mister. He was actually really good, and the craziest thing was, for a majority of the film, I had to get over the fact that Coleman Domingo's character is basically, this is where I got the character from, the Mister from the Boondocks, who was Ruckus's dad, and if you've never seen that, you just gotta check it out for yourself. The Mister in Boondocks, who was Ruckus's dad, that is who Coleman Domingo reminded me of a majority of this movie. So I had to get over that, and after I stopped laughing, just because the Boondocks is stupid funny, so it just made me think of that. So I wasn't laughing at what was happening to the young girl. No, I wasn't doing that. I was just laughing because some of it reminded me of the Boondocks. That's it. Just being black, just being myself. But look, while Coleman Domingo played one of the shittiest personalities, he did a phenomenal job at portraying this person. I mean, he was really good as just a very shitty, drunk person. I mean, like, this dude, he really killed his performance very well. I'll say Taraji P. Henson. Girl, Taraji P. Henson always gonna do her thing. Like, Taraji P. Henson was amazing in this movie. She was good. Fantasia did very good in some parts, but then, like, other parts, it was kind of like I couldn't really believe everything I needed to believe from her. And honestly, I think that comes from two things. One, I mean, there's various versions of The Color Purple. There are plays and things like that. And so, like, I felt like at some parts of this movie, it comes off as a play and not necessarily a movie. And it's mainly because of Fantasia. But I'll also say, comparing this movie to Fences, how that movie was also made a play. But in Fences, the dialogue and just the intensity of those scenes made you feel what they were saying, although they were saying it in a rhythmic pattern, because, like I said, it is based off a play. But in Fences, they were saying it in a rhythmic pattern, but making you feel that it's moving in the sense of a story. This movie, at times, Color Purple, made me feel like it was moving as a play. And I don't know, she did a good job, but it was just like some moments with her character specifically, I felt like I was actually watching a play, and it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. Another thing, I mean, so look, as far as what I liked about the film, Coleman Domingo was amazing, Taraji P. Henson was awesome, Fantasia did good. Oh, I'm sorry, Danielle Brooks was a tremendous. Her character's name was Sophia. Tremendous. She was a great character. So they're good. The characters are good. But see, this is where Halle Bailey did good too. She's not in the movie a lot, but she's good for the parts that she is in there. She's much better than her older counterpart. But I'm gonna get to that, into what I necessarily did not like about this film. Okay, so if this part of the video feels kind of like random or out of place, I apologize, but I thought about a point to add on to why I didn't enjoy the movie as much as I wanted to after the fact that I recorded this original part of the video, but I had to just throw this in here to make another point. Now, it is spoiler alert, minor spoiler alert. If you have not seen the original Color Purple or this one, then you have been warned, but I'm going to just place this somewhere in this video so that I can make this point, because I needed to make it. Look, What also kind of really blew me about this movie, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's shown in the trailer too, is when Halle Bailey's character tells her sister, "I'm gonna write you every day, as much as I can, and as a promise to keep in touch with her." She says that line right in front of Mister. And they're all, it's a three-way not really a three-way conversation going on, but she's in the process of being thrown out, and she's literally yelling, "I will write you every day until, we meet again," or some shit like that. And Mr. hears all this, and then as they get older, or as the years have gone on, she hasn't received a letter from her sister once, and she's always expecting one, but Mr. is dealing with the mail. I mean, that blew me, because it's like, did you just not think that was gonna happen? He was standing right there when she said it. You think he just gonna let you get letters? You know he's a mean, nasty man. Now maybe that's just a credit to her, the character, Fantasia's character's Cecile. I don't know. I don't want to get her name wrong, but Fantasia character. That's maybe a credit to her naiveness and ignorance, and how she just she's not really that smart to think on her own yet. But that kind of just blew me, because I'm like, that's on both of them, really. It's not even just on Fantasia. It's on Nettie, too. You gonna yell this right in front of dude's face? Like, come on now. You just gonna yell it right in front of dude's face? Like, he just doesn't, he's just not there for that moment. That just blew me, but I had to add that in there. Probably gonna throw this in at the end of the video, and who knows if you make it this far, depending on how long this video is, who knows if you'll even see this point, but it's a very important point. It is, because he was right there the whole time, and I'm just thinking to myself, every time she doesn't get a letter as she's older, I'm like, you just don't remember that day she yelled it right in front of dude's face, like he was not there. And that was just killing me, but that's my minor little point. But thank you for watching the review. Appreciate it. Okay, so when it comes to what I didn't like about this movie, see, it's so surprising to me, because honestly, I am a very, I'll say, guilty pleasure fan of musicals. Like, I kind of like hide my love of musicals, because a lot of my friends don't necessarily like it, and I don't really have nobody to share my love of musicals with, but I get that love from my moms. I love musicals. So anytime there's some sort of great musical number, or some just breakout in song in some films, like it can win me over in an instant if the song is amazing and the dancing scenes are great. But for this movie here, to start with what I didn't like about the film, the musical numbers to me kind of felt out of place. And on top of that, for me personally, like, there was just no song. Like, I'll say the best song out of the catalog for me was God Can Do Something in Mysterious Ways. I forgot what the name of the song was, but it was God Works in Mysterious Ways. That one. Okay, God Works in Mysterious Ways. That song was good. That the church in me had me jumping. That song was great. But then after that, there's no song. Like, and what I mean by a song is, in all musicals and all songs with music in them, if it is a memorable one, there's a song that you are humming to yourself coming out of that theater. You're singing it to yourself. You can't get it stuck out of your head. There's a song in that film that you are just literally in love over, and you can't stop listening to it on your way home from the theater. But in this film, there wasn't a song for me in that scenario, however you put that. There wasn't a song for me there. And I was kind of disappointed by that, because I wanted to love one of these songs. I wanted one of these songs to hit me and, like, just make me, resonate with what was going on in the film. And although I'm not necessarily a woman, but I can understand the sense of, not knowing how to love yourself, and being in a place where you feel like you should only be treated as such, or you personally feel like you should only be treated this way because this is all I know how to be treated like, and I can only be so nice because I'm so scared to do anything else, to be myself. Like, I can relate to that notion. I mean, the sisterhood thing, hey, sisterhood may not be like brotherhood, but I'm not getting into all that right now. But basically what I'm trying to say is, just when it came to the songs having some oomph and making me feel and making me like just crave more of the singing, just making me sit there crying. Basically, I like to cry in musicals. I like to feel the song. I like to feel what's going on. None of them songs got me. None of them songs hit me the way I wanted them to hit me. And also, kind of the random camp. See, the thing about black people is when cameos pop up in certain movies, it's like it could be there to make you laugh or just throw you off. Some of the cameos in this film or some of the casting just kind of like threw me for a loop, because we had Dion Cole, who I think is hilarious. Dion Cole was playing this. He played the sister's father, who was just a very atrocious man as well. He was just a very mean person. But the way I'm laughing because it's like I couldn't take him seriously, because once I hear Dion Cole's voice, like just that deep sarcastic voice where he just talks like this, it's like I can't, like, I'm gonna just start laughing. Like, I can't believe what's coming out of his mouth anymore. And then it's crazy because one scene literally had him like in the shadows, and so only part of his face was showing from the light and the other half was kind of like just taken off, and he was saying some like real like disgusting things to his daughters, and I just couldn't take it seriously because I'm like, dude, this is Dion Cole. I'm like, I just couldn't take that seriously. And then, as I said about Halle Bailey's counterpart, the older version of Nettie, oh man, that might be, no, I feel like that's in the trailer. I don't think that's really a surprise. I'll just say the person who plays the older version of Nettie did not do it for me at all. She shouldn't have been in this movie. No. I felt nothing at this reuniting of the two. And I feel like that's not, I mean, this movie been out forever. And a lot of people who are probably watching this review have either seen the movie or seen the older Color Purple, so maybe you do know. And if you didn't know, I'm sorry. The sisters do reunite at some point. That's already been said. Forgive me for that spoiler. Sorry about that. But I mean, just I felt nothing at a particular point in the movie where I should have felt something. I'm just gonna say it like that now, just so I don't have to keep repeating the spoiler. But sorry about that. I just didn't feel anything, and that was my gripe with a lot of the film, because it was like I felt like at the narrative points where I should have been feeling the song that's coming next and them expressing themselves, it's just like either the narrative was too short and the song just popped out of nowhere and just decided to take over. It was just a lot of just chaotic messiness at times, just whenever the song wanted to play or when they wanted to be serious about the narrative. This movie just really didn't do it for me. Like it didn't hit me the way I wanted it to. Like I thought it was beautiful. The movie is beautiful. Now, don't get me wrong. Oh my gosh, the scenery and the set pieces and the cinematography, the way this movie looks is gorgeous. But then also she's in this movie, the artist, song artist, however you want to say it. She kind of threw me for a loop too, because it's like, once she started singing, not that she's supposed to sound like anybody else, because I mean, you know who it is. It's just like, that kind of took me out of the movie too, because I'm like, her voice is so distinct from, like, her has one of the most unique voices I've ever heard personally. Well, it's like I know immediately who that is. Like, she has her voice. But when she was singing in the movie, that kind of just took me out of it too, because I'm like, all I hear is her. It's like I don't know. It's like sometimes it's like I'm not hearing a character. I'm hearing the artist. It's like I don't, like, is she supposed to change her vocals? I don't know, but I can only express what I felt about the movie. Like, just for me, that kind of took me out of it when she had to start singing. She did okay. She didn't really have too many lines, but she did okay as her character. She did pretty well, but it's just when she started singing, I was like, damn, that took me out of the movie too, because I'm like, I feel like we should have chosen an actual character and let her be, like, maybe just give her solos. I don't know. But I don't know. It's weird. I know this is a weird review too, because I was just so, I don't know. I was shocked. I wanted to love this movie too. I liked it. It's not Ferrari. This movie didn't necessarily like bore me, but I felt like for how powerful this story could have been, it wasn't told in a way that truly made you feel what's going on. And I'm truly thinking to myself, it's because of how dark this actual movie is, and like how gruesome of a tale this is. And so you can't necessarily tell it in a way as the older version, which I'm sure is a lot worse. Like I said, I've never seen it, but the entire time I'm watching this film, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, if what they are talking about right here was shown in the 80s or 70s, whenever this movie came out, which it was shown, but I'm saying I was comparing it to the older version. I was like, if I'm watching this back in the 80s, this would be a lot more gruesome. This is just really 2023 version is really a nicer, as nice as they can possibly tell you this stuff happened to these girls. Like that's the nicest way they could possibly tell you. That's why I don't watch black movies. Back then in that older version, not that I've seen it, but I am guessing that they show you that in a lot more gruesome and a much more sad way that make you feel what this movie is supposed to be about. And that's why everybody loves that one so much and it's so powerful. I'm not watching that. No, absolutely not. But this movie here was missing truly what that older movie had, which was the darkness. It was the gruesome, dark storytelling and the imagery that they had to show to truly make you understand that this is a very gruesome story, but it's something that just becomes very beautiful at the end. And this movie in the 2023 version just didn't necessarily make me feel that, but it made me felt it. It didn't make the movie didn't make me feel it, but it made me feel like the older one definitely has some shit to say for sure. I'm not gonna watch it though, because I get all the vibes that I need to from this one here, and I'm just good. This one for me though just had a little too much singing, and I know what I didn't like about the movie necessarily just became a rant at some point, but that's what I do. I rant. I'm sorry. Like I can only be me. I can only be me. I'm sorry about the rants, but honestly, I couldn't really put together points about what I didn't like about the movie, because it doesn't just necessarily reside with like bullet points. For me, it's not really that simple. It's a little more complicated than that, because this is history. This is like movies like this is important. Like if you come off and say you ain't really like the movie like that, like I said, you can be scared as I was. Like I thought the movie was cool, but it didn't hit me the way I wanted it to. It didn't necessarily make me feel the way I wanted to feel. And I guess what I mean by that is it didn't necessarily, like I said, I like to cry during musicals, man. I like to feel what the words are. I like to resonate with the story. And this was one that definitely had something to say. It's just the musical numbers would come in and just either take you out of the film, or a cameo would take me out, or something at some point just kept taking me out of the movie. And that just kept consistently happening to me. Also, this movie is full of like 1,000 memes. That's just the kid in me talking. But no, like there were a bunch of memes going off in my head as this movie was going on. It was like I said. So I was probably just taking myself out at that point. But it's a very good story. Just wasn't told in a way that I feel like it could truly make you feel what is occurring in front of you. And honestly, look, for all the people that wanted to clap after the movie, and my theater was pretty packed, so it was a pretty loud clapping. It wasn't that good. I mean, it wasn't that good. Like they had the people. I know it was a lot of white people. That's why I'm saying it. Like these people was clapping like they just watched La La Land or something like that. Like they was clapping really hard. It wasn't that good, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of gripe for that comparison. But white people love La La Land. La La Land's really good, and I love La La Land. But The Color Purple is a good movie. It's not great, but it's a good one. And well, for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give The Color Purple a 3.25 out of 5 stars. All right, guys, so The Color Purple, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Look, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.